Busy equals productive. Rest is earned. Success requires sacrifices. Being busy is a socially accepted form of self-harm. There, I said it. If you saw someone cutting themselves to feel important, you would be horrified and probably call for help. But when you see someone bragging about 80-hour work week and sleeping 4 hours per night or even per week, you call them dedicated, committed, disciplined, driven. But actually both of those behaviors use pain to prove their worth. I'm Justina, I'm a psychologist, and I love optimization and fulfillment, but I used to self-harm my calendar. So here's the psychology behind why we are all destroying ourselves for productivity, and that our brain can't really tell the difference between busyness and trauma. About 2 years ago, I was working full-time, doing my master's degree, starting my YouTube channel, and at the same time taking care of my fitness aspects of life, my relationship aspects of life, and I also wanted to have a social life. So I was proud of sleeping 4 hours per night, working out every single day, eating my meals while working in front of computer, and literally scheduling zero me time or resting or wind downing things. And people call me driven. I was efficient, I was effective, I was really productive. So people call me driven, people call me disciplined, people called me that I was on top of the things. And I was, kind of. Inside, after some time, I was falling apart. Being busy became a part of my identity. So when the moments came, and they did come sooner than later, when I was just too overwhelmed, or I didn't have time to check off all the things from my to-do list, or I was simply too exhausted, or today was just not my day, and I couldn't do the things I was supposed to do that day, I was questioning, who am I even if I'm not being busy, if I'm not doing those things? Or am I even trying enough if I'm not doing those things? So every single time I was slowing down and deciding today I'm not going to go, for example, to the gym because I'm just too exhausted. I didn't have enough sleep. I didn't have enough food. I just need to rest maybe 1 day a week. I started feeling guilty that I cannot fulfill the promises that I gave to myself. And that's when I discovered the science behind busyness addiction, and it is more disturbing than you think. Here's the mind blow. Your brain processes chronic busyness the same way it processes the trauma. Constant overstimulation triggers your threat detection system, flooding your system with stress hormones that they were supposed to save you from lions, not from meetings, or you putting more things on your plate than you can handle. So here's the truly disturbing part. We've culturally weaponized our survival instincts for our productivity. Your fight or flight response, which should activate in emergencies, maybe once a month, or maybe when actually something important happens because it endangers you and people that you care about, is now automatically, constantly on 12 hours straight because you have 47 notifications on Teams or someone is spamming you with emails. Chronic busyness creates the same brain patterns as PTSD, post-traumatic syndrome disorder, hypervigilance, emotional numbing, inability to rest, and the sense of impending doom. You're not driven, you're not committed and disciplined, you're being traumatized. by your own schedule. And the research on that is terrifying, showing that people in busy lifestyles show the same neural changes as abuse survivors. Your brain literally cannot distinguish the difference between being chased by the predator and being chased by your own deadlines and the life pressure. But we're just normalized trauma as productivity culture. We've been sold the biggest lie of modern capitalism. And this is definitely something that I took from my childhood too. That our worth equals our output. That busy people are important people. And if you're not grinding, you're not growing. But actually, we need to clarify a couple of myths, like the busyness myths. Myth one is that busy equals productive. Research shows that people who work 55 plus hours per week actually achieve and accomplish less than those working 40 hours. And this is because your brain needs a downtime, needs time to process and rest to be able to pick things up with the same energy and speed the next day. Myth two that I absolutely hate is that rest is earned. And this approach is about that you need a permission to rest only once you do enough. But the problem with this thinking is that this enough keeps on moving. So at some point, you need to do more and more to even have 1 hour of rest. And at some point, you feel like, oh, fuck the rest. Who needs it? And you are on this vicious cycle of working all the time until your body says stop and you fall sick. Then you might actually get some rest because what you're supposed to do. But about that, there is a beautiful book called When the Body Keeps the Score. And that shows that at some point, if you don't say stop, your body will. So if you don't want to schedule the rest, your body will force you to schedule the rest. Resting shouldn't be a luxury that we're all waiting to get and earn. It is just a biological necessity, just like eating and sleeping. Myth three is that success requires sacrifices. And don't get me wrong, it does. But the most successful people aren't the busiest ones. They are the most strategic. When I think about that success requires sacrifices, it means that it's something for something. But it doesn't mean that you will just pile on some pointless activities just to keep yourself busy, and that's how you achieve the success. The most successful people protect their energy and they understand how valuable their time is. So they will put their time and effort and their energy into the most valuable, the most impactful things. They will just not do hundreds of random things just because they put it in their agenda, and then they will pointlessly work 100 plus hours per week. It's going to be strategic and valuable. Busyness addiction serves the exact same psychological function as any other self-harm behavior. It helps you feel something when you feel emotionally numb, and it gives you a control when you feel like everything is chaotic. And the self-harm psychology behind it is 1. Pain as a proof. The busy people exhaust themselves to feel important. 2. Control through chaos. When you can't control your outcomes, you can control your schedule. When you can't control your emotions, you can control your productivity. So both create an illusion of agency and control over our lives. And then 3, punishment as identity. I deserved to be overwhelmed because I'm not good enough yet is the same pattern as I deserve the pain because I'm not worthy of love. The day I realized I was scheduling myself to suffer as a punishment of not being perfect, everything clicked. I wasn't being productive. I was just self-harming myself with sociably accepted tools. And at some point, it just hit me. I was miserable. I was overly exhausted. I was doing only the things I didn't like and I didn't enjoy. And I was wondering, this is how my life is going to look like? The sum of things I hate to do? So to heal your busyness addiction, you need to start from those 3 core beliefs. The first one being that being busy isn't the same as being productive, isn't the same as being efficient and effective. You can be super busy and so unproductive and then get nothing, absolutely nothing done. And I see it very often that sometimes this busyness is just a procrastination instead of doing things that matter and could move you into a direction of your goal. Instead, it's just keeping you stuck where you are, but you are tricking yourself that, of course, I'm busy, I'm doing so many things, where in reality, it's just a procrastination. So I started measuring my productivity in outcomes instead of hours. If I do the same thing in 5 minutes, that was the most productive 5 minutes, than doing something, the same thing for 6 hours. The second core belief that we need to change is the reframing that you need to earn rest. Your brain needs downtime the same as your lungs need oxygen. You don't earn right to breathe by working hard. Rest isn't a reward, it's a requirement. Third core belief that we need to reframe is the belief that your worth is determined by how impressed people are by your busy schedule. It's determined by how aligned your actions are with your actual values and goals. Once I slowed down, and believe me, it was so hard because I felt like I have my busyness addiction imprinted in my brain, I not only became more energetic, and productive and efficient and effective, but also I became more present in the moment. I could actually soak all that time in. And if everything that I said doesn't persuade you yet, hear this out. This is the truth that might actually shock you and maybe change your relationship with productivity. The most successful people aren't the busiest ones. They are the best at protecting their time. They say no to like 95% of opportunities. They protect their time like it's literally their job. Meanwhile, the busy people are doing everyone else's priorities and they'll neglect their own. They are so busy being available to others that they are unavailable to themselves. And the ultimate irony is that being busy makes you feel important, but it actually makes you replaceable. Rested, strategic people are irreplaceable because they can do the things nobody else can. All right, the challenge for today is to identify one thing that keeps you busy and keeps your schedule busy while actually doesn't make you move forward with your goals or with your life. And if you feel comfortable, comment down below and let's call it out, this busyness addiction. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it down below. And if you want more psychology insights, check out my previous videos, but also if you want to stay on this journey together, navigating our lives in a more fulfilled and optimized way, definitely subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.